Welcome to All Things Retreat podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show today. We're going to be talking about retreats. Can you imagine that? And today I have a world-renowned healer, Eva Vennari. She is an international speaker, best-selling author, and founder of the Elevate Institute. She's known for thinking differently to get the results that you want and don't know that you need in the realm of true holistic healing. Welcome to the show, Eva.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we've had a few calls and I was really excited to get you to come and chat with the listeners and retreat leaders that come to the All Things Retreat podcast here. And I think that we can really serve them in a way today that grab your pen and pad, folks, because I think there'll be some really good things that Eva's going to share with us. We're going to walk you through a process of how she did her particular retreat to give you some ideas. I'm an idea girl, and I love when people share those kinds of things with me and kind of like pull the curtain behind and look behind the scenes and see how others are doing things. I think are super important. So I'm going to just let you tell us a little bit more about you, and then let's just dive into your retreats.
Yeah, I've been in the healing space for about 15 years and pride myself on this true holistic healer title, really embodying it. And it's been a bit of a struggle with all that there is to offer for healings and deciding what people want versus what I think they need, which I think is a marketing, it's the biggest problem to solve as healers. We always have we know what's going on for a person when we hear them, we see them, we tell them what's toxic and what to do and what not to do, but people don't connect with us there. They want something that is tangible. And so coming to that place has been a bit of a winding road, a little bit of a journey. And so finding out that.
So how long ago did you decide that retreats were a great place to serve your clients?
I started doing retreats about 10 years ago, but not on the scale that I'm doing today. I was doing something called the Petite retreat, really a few hours over a weekend, invite some friends over, serve them some food that was on what I call the preferred meal plan, and let them experience some information that they can immediately put into practice, right? So that was my original retreat. Fun to do, but that wasn't my main stitch. It was more about the mineral balancing and being that practitioner and getting people on a program that they can then manage, their chronic illnesses and get rid of them eventually. That was the goal. Yeah. So that's a long-term process though. People want something. This is what I found. People want something more immediate. They want an immediate result. Eva, what do you have that's a miracle?
Well, I know you probably work with men as well, right? Or just women?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say most of our listeners are going to be women, and men need mineral balancing. Let's just talk about how, like, what is that? First of all, a lot of people listening, they're like, well, I've heard of that, but talk about that maybe versus hormone balancing and hormone replacement maybe.
Yeah, the best way to describe it from the beginning standpoint is that the process is if you give your body what it needs, it can heal itself. That's the belief behind the process. And the process answers the question of, well, how do you know what the body needs? And it's a process of just simply taking a little bit of hair and doing a hair analysis, hair mineral test, and we can see how the body's processing over a course of about 30 days. So it's less likely to be seen, what's important anyways, in a blood test. You get your blood tested for certain things, keep doing it. But why don't you test your hair is my question, because there's so much you can see in it. Metabolism, how well you're processing your food. Are you getting rid of your toxic metals? What are your hormone, not levels, but effectiveness in your cell structure? I'm using crazy words here, but that's really what it comes down to. It's getting our body to a place of ideal. And people are often caught in the trap of, oh, I see a test where I'm too low on something. I must need more of that one thing. And that's just not how the body works. It's about the relationships of minerals inside the body. And so we're capturing the natural essence of your body's own internal programming that knows how to heal you. All we have to do is get out of the way, give it what it needs, and then let it do its magic. And that's mineral balancing in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, I know that kind of diverted from the retreat thing we were talking about, but I wanted the listeners to understand that when we're talking about your process, of course, that's your process, but that's also your specialty. So I want them to understand as we go into this, that's what you were focused on working with these people that come to your retreats. So walk us through your process. Let's pull the curtain back and let's look at what your timeline is for, can we use your Alaska cruise that you just did a few months ago?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's
We
use
did.
that for an example.
Yeah. So the Alaskan Healing Cruise was held last week of August and of 2025. I decided that people needed a preparation. So I started the retreat and opened it with a ceremony on a virtual platform. Just invited people into a call and said, this is what you're going to experience. Not so much as a here's what you should pack. Well, we did that too. It's here is what to expect and what we need you, me, what we need you to prepare for when you're there. There's a whole lot of trust in walk the process and allow us to just guide you through without asking a whole lot of, well, what's going to happen questions, because we don't know. Just in the same way as your body heals it, what it finds is the priority versus what we think the priority is, the
Yeah.
spirit also responds that way. And so it was more or less that relax into it, allow this to be a time of receiving and just preparing. So that preparation was about 2 weeks before we embarked the cruise ship. This is a healing cruise. So we had 7 days on water, three of them were sea days, and we did all of the one-on-one healings on the sea days so that people could rest, relax, enjoy the entertainment, and go on the excursions on the off days and cocoon when they needed to. So they had their cabin to go into. All of their food was completely taken care of. If they had any allergies or whatever, I didn't have to deal with that. That was the cruise ship. They dealt with all of that. Entertainment, same thing. The cruise ship crew helped with all of that. I was focused on showing up where I needed to be, do the healings. They were all one on one. We're not talking about fill a room of 250 people and pull out a magic wand and go, be healed. This is real energy work that was
Right.
multi layered, multi threaded, and being present for whatever came up. Now you're like a surgeon, me, doing the work and opening up a person's energy body, and even for emotional healing and physical healing. We did the whole gamut, the whole true holistic healing, right? And post cruise, we had more integration calls that are continuing on even now as we support what has arisen during these sessions. So I'm not trying to get you to a specific place. I'm trying to get you to a specific understanding about how big we really are. And that's what the cruises are about. That's what the healings are about. Our biggest job is to learn who we are as humans, who we are as an eternal soul, those two things together, and that's what we're achieving when we do these cruises.
And what do you think compared to a venue that's on land and not on a cruise? What would you say the differences are for you?
The biggest difference is the ability to hold space. So with the land retreat, very often not a hotel but a healing center requires a huge deposit, and they want a certain amount for how many cabins or spaces, whatever it is that each individual will be staying in. They want that deposit. With a cruise ship, it's a lot different, and you can work with concierge to reserve your cabins, and then you sell to fill. And then as long as that cruise ship hasn't sold out, you can continue to sell. So it's different in that aspect. And then I don't have to worry about, well, when it comes to a land retreat, you may or may not have staff on hand to handle
Yeah.
all of those incidentals and the entertainment. And it's just a lot easier to manage when you're on a cruise ship. It's just a matter of don't miss the boat, and,
Yeah.
and then we all get into the same space.
What's your sweet spot for a cruise of people?
About eight 8 people.
Okay.
So it's a very intimate group. And we're talking, because it's one on one, hands on healing. I'm not doing group classes necessarily. We get to see each other at dinner time, but the one on one healings are exactly that, one on one. So I'm limited in my time.
Yeah. And so when you do one-on-one healings on the cruise ship, how long are those?
Depends on the healing. Most of them average about 40 minutes to an hour.
And you do each person more than once while you're there?
Well, there's multiple healings for the cruise ship. So what I've done is taken the try to meet the person where they are on their spiritual journey
Right.
and provide groupings of healings that are beneficial to maybe a person who's just getting started, and maybe they're not going to be available emotionally or spiritually to something that's more advanced. And so I have a starter package and then I have the advanced package. And so depending on which package, there's a set amount or more healings. And so that can be anywhere from 7 to 12 different healings per person. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And
That
if
is a
each
lot.
one's taking 40 minutes, then that adds up.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. And then you get home and well, first of all, on yours, are you upselling them anything to work with you after, or is after just included in what you're doing?
Well, it's kind of, they can come at it from two different directions. One is I have a year-long program that includes a seat on a retreat, so they can pick which cruise they want to go on.
Okay.
The other way is to join the retreat and then upgrade into the programs. And the best way to support a body that is in a healing journey is to make sure that lifestyle and minerals are taken care of, that you're looking at food, that you're auditing your cleaning and environment. What are we using to clean our house, our laundry, our dishes? What are we putting on our face for makeup? We don't get to handle those details on the ship. And
Right.
that takes time. It takes time to change lifestyle and, learn about the ways to, take care of a human body. It's just, we didn't come with a manual, but I do my best to give you one. And yeah, so that's the ongoing support. And then, of course, if you want to go on another retreat, you can. I actually have a whole separate, so graduates who've been on a retreat already, they get a different number of healings,
Right.
different kinds of healings. So there's always more, because what happens? You get there, you get to where you think the destination is, and then you realize there's more.
I always say, healers need healers, retreat leaders need retreats, just coaches need coaches. It's just, if you're not willing to invest yourself, how do you expect people to invest in you? And investing in your health, to me, I mean, especially after my long COVID journey and stuff, it's more important than ever to be healthy. And when you don't have that, it's challenging. It changes everything about life and how you do things. So I love that you're doing that. Any other tips that you could think of, maybe, that you, if someone thinking, I hadn't thought about doing a cruise for a retreat. I have several friends that do cruises, and some of them only do cruises. And I love that. It's just, that's their sweet spot. But would you only do cruises, or would you do other venues that are on land as well?
Well, I just wrapped up a one-on-one retreat, a VIP experience with a person who said to me, Eva, I don't do cruises and I'm not waiting until April, your next one. I'm going to come to LA and we're going to do the VIP experience. And I said, okay. And so we blocked off 4 days for that person, and she flew in and stayed at an Airbnb nearby. And we just basically did all the same healings on land. So yes, yes, and there's always options. And I think that being flexible for those options is the most important part. We want to meet people where they are and
Yeah,
not be inflexible with, well, you got to come to the cruise. No, you don't. It's all right.
absolutely. Right. But that also comes at a cost. And if you're willing to pay it, you can buy anything with money, right? But yeah, and so let's see. I had another thought. I was going to ask you another question about that. Let's talk about the integration part after. So you come home from the retreat, and now let's just say, okay, you decided, yeah, you're going to upsell. Say half of them were already working with you and then went on the cruise. Half of them weren't. So that's four, and
That's
four
very
are
true.
new. And now, what's that?
That's a true case study
Yeah.
of the last trip. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that was a guess on my part intuitively, right? Anyway, and now you're working with them. How long are they typically going to work with you in your program? I know everybody offers different things, but like for you, how long is it? Is that a 6 month? Is it a year? What does that look like?
It depends on what the person wants to achieve. And I find about half the people that come with me on a retreat, they decide to either continue the work they were doing prior, which is the mineral balancing and the energetic remote healings that I offer. So those can be done from anywhere. I've got clients from Peru to Dubai. So it doesn't matter where you are for the remote stuff. And this one on one hands on healing, that's where it requires us to be in person somewhere. So I just picked a cruise. So the remote work, people often like giving their body what it needs. And the result is they feel good and they know their body is supporting them. Why would they ever stop? And I'm not selling it to them that way. They're just coming to that decision and they go, Eva, I know we're getting close to the end of a year or two, but can we? I reversed all of these chronic conditions. Can I just stay on the program? Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
can. No problem.
So typically, how long would you say for someone to do mineral balancing? I'm sure a lot of the women listening to this are kind of leaning in, especially if they're menopausal. How long would you say it takes? I mean, everyone's going to be different, but what would you say the average takes?
It depends on the age of the person and it depends on the number of chronic illnesses that you're experiencing. And quite frankly, you don't have to be experiencing any chronic illnesses or even the experience of menopause and all of its symptoms in order to do this work, because the same solution for chronic illness is also longevity. So
Yeah.
pick your not your poison, but you know what I mean. Pick your destination. All right, and to answer the question, kids typically 6 months to a year before we see the minerals are balancing out to an ideal and that toxins have left the body, are no longer inflaming the body. And oh my God, I'm seeing kids starting younger and younger because imbalances are passed from mother to child in the womb. So that said, now you get to adulthood. The longer you've been an adult and the more closely you resemble feeling adrenal burnout, we're talking 2 to 3 years. But it's slow and it's deliberate, and your body only takes on the healing that it can handle. So it's nothing rough, it's not difficult. And those who just they like how they feel, they'll stay 5, 6, 7 years and they continue
Yeah.
on that path. So it really depends. But menopause, let me share a quick story. I
Sure.
went through early onset perimenopause at 28
Mm.
the first time. And it was like, Mount Kilimanjaro. Who wants to climb that? Not me. So it was terrible. It was when I started doing mineral work, I finally reversed that at 37. So years of let's have PMS for 6 months.
Wow.
That was my life.
No, thank you.
Yeah. And so now I'm 52 going through regular perimenopause. This is the expected age. And it's like a
Yeah.
little road bump. The difference is insane. I don't have the hot flashes. I don't have the irregular cycles. I don't have all of the things that would tell the women complain about. And it's
Right.
really twofold. You're giving your body what it needs, and also you're not looking to reverse it with bioidentical hormones.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're
It's a
trying to
very
go,
different way to look at it. When I first talked to you about it, I was,
yeah, it's entirely different. Well, there's a lot of resistance. I'm going to lose my looks. I'm going to lose my flexibility. I'm going to lose whatever we think we're going to lose. And right, this is the mindset thing. We're going into a different stage of life. We're kind of supposed to lose some things. That's normal. If we're trying to get from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, we need to keep going towards Las Vegas, not turn around and go back to LA. And I think
yeah.
that's what bioidentical hormones do. And so I want to caution, it's like really
Yeah.
just support your body so that it can work on its own.
Yeah. Well, I always say our bodies are made to heal. They really are. It's just we put so much toxic stuff in them and our environment surrounds us with so much crap that, yeah, there's so many sick people now. It's amazing how it's very sad actually how many people are suffering from health issues that were never around before. And so I think it's great to find some alternative things. I'm all about holistic healing, definitely. And listen, my journey's been 4 years now. Right now, 4 years ago is when I was in the hospital for 70 days with COVID. Boy, I'll tell you, to go from being a really healthy person to just being so vulnerable, it was tough. And I'm probably about between 90 and 95% back to where I was. I don't know if I'll ever get 100%. If I do, I'm open to that and we'll take it. But when you lose that health, you're right, it does. So that's been years for me. And I'll tell you what, I've thrown everything at it because I care, better is better for me. So I hope that our listeners today have gotten some tips from you and that they can, figure out maybe a cruise is something they hadn't thought about, and you've just given them a whole new things. I feel like we covered cruises, we covered before and after, we covered mineral balancing of your hormones. Like, man, you got 10 shows in one here. But I hope that's the case. Do you have any other words of wisdom that you want to leave before we end the show?
Yeah, the biggest one, I love this as a bold statement, not because I love the fact of it. 87% of entrepreneurs are burned out. And a lot of that usually comes from the place of, I hear it all the time, I'm not sure that what I'm doing is what I should be doing. And we can get to the bottom of that and clear away all of that energetic charge that's been keeping you from seeing it. And if you can do that and get to the place of clarity, I think that's your most important first step.
I love that. No, I agree with you. That's, oh my gosh, so important. I was going to say, I have, so little self plug here, I'm going to throw out. I have, because of my experience in the hospital, I have a lot of a big near death story and a lot of out of body experiences and stuff while I was in there. But I wrote a book that's coming out on 11/11. So people are hearing this after it's already out. If you're hearing it before, it's coming in less than 30 days, but it's called Near Death Shift. And it's all around the shift, which stands for surrender, hope, intuition, faith, and transformation. So it's right in alignment with retreats and that self-improvement and self-discovery and finding your purpose. And hopefully a lot of people will learn some things, because I learned a lot of things. So that's why we did it. And anyway, there's so much free help out there too that people can find. YouTube University, I always say, if you need to know some information, ChatGPT is the new Google, right? You can go look up anything. But I think keep listening to these shows, because I feel like we bring some great guests. Eva's one of them, and that way you can learn what you need to know to keep doing retreats or just starting to do retreats wherever you fall in that category. But come back. We launch every week. So, all right, Eva, thanks so much for being with us today. And if they can get a hold of you, I'm going to put it in the show notes. So we'll send them your website, and anything else you want will be in the show notes on there. So you can find her there and go check out a little bit more about what she does. And if you're interested in the mineral balancing and things like that, yeah, that's all part of her work. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye for now. Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place, from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess. Get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.